That's what the story does. So as you go to class today, I know you have lots of things left to finish up. That next week after our Palm Sunday worship service, we get to go and imagine ourselves back on the road in Jerusalem. So I thank you in advance for helping us old folks have an imagination. So go into class. Can you get your head about 1,000 years old, 2,000 years old? Walk to class. You can go to 1 million. He's special. I know it's coming right up next Sunday. How old was? Oh, a cake that looks like a watermelon? Out of my league. Wonderful. And after worship, I'll take this off and you guys can too touch something that's 2,000 years old. I would invite Bruce forward this morning to read our psalm.
Good morning. I exalt you, Lord, because you pulled me up. You didn't let my enemies celebrate over me. Lord, my God, I cried out for your help and you healed me. Lord, you brought me up from the grave, brought me back to life from among those going down to the pit. You who are faithful to the Lord, sing praises to him, give thanks to his holy name. His anger lasts for only a second, but his favor lasts a lifetime. Weeping may stay all night, but mourning joy. When I was comfortable, I said, I will never stumble. Because it pleased you, Lord, you made me a strong mountain. But then you hid your presence. I was terrified. I cried out to you, Lord. I begged my Lord for mercy. What is to be gained by my spilled blood? By my going down into the pit? Does dust thank you? Does it proclaim your faithfulness? Lord, listen and have mercy on me. Lord, be my helper. You changed my mourning into dancing. You took off my funeral clothes and dressed me up in joy, so that my whole being might sing praises to you and never stop. Lord, my God, I will give thanks to you forever.
I wish the story took place anywhere else than where it did. Bethel would have been good. Bethel, the house of God. Bethlehem, the house of bread. The story didn't take place there. It took place in Bethany. Bethany, the house of affliction. Jesus had been in Jerusalem and he went over the Jordan, down through Jericho and across the river into a land that you do not go to for its hospitality. You do not go to for its view. You go there. Jesus went there because the rocks stayed on the ground. In Jerusalem, the rocks were in hands, ready to stone him. So he left. There across the Jordan, in the place where rocks stay still, he was, and he healed, and he talked, and he preached, and he consoled, and he was present to all those who came to him. No idea how many days that was until the messenger came. Jesus, I have a message for you. Your friend Lazarus, whom you love, is sick unto death. You have been requested by his sisters Mary and Martha that you would go so that he might live. Jesus heard the message. The disciples heard the message. And Jesus waited. There in 2 days, I don't know how many people he touched or healed or consoled, but he waited 2 days. And his disciples were like, why do you want to wait 2 days? The one you love is sick. He said, I am waiting so that God's glory might be made known. Lazarus is asleep. Oh, if he's asleep, no problem. He'll wake up. He'll be well, won't he? No, he's dead. But he will rise. What they didn't know was Jesus was not only speaking of Lazarus's death, but of his own. The time came when Jesus was ready and he said, let us go back to Judah. The disciples were like, we want you to help Lazarus, but do you really want to go there where the stones are not still, where they seek your life? Let's go. And Thomas, who was with Jesus and the disciples, said, let's go with him to Judah. Let's go with him to Jerusalem. Let's go with him so that we might die with him. It says in Greek, with him. Who is the him in that sentence? The him being Lazarus, or the him being Jesus? It's Thomas. Let us go that we might die with him, he says. They came near to Bethany, the house of affliction. They came near to Bethany, only a few miles from Jerusalem, where those stones are not left unturned. And as he approached the village, Martha heard that he was coming, and she went out to him and said, where were you? Why didn't you come? We sent a messenger days ago, and you didn't come. If you had come, my brother would be alive. Where were you? If you had come, my brother would be alive. Martha. The Lord spoke to her and said, I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me, though they die, they will live. Whoever believes in me will not die. Do you believe this? Yes, I believe you are Christ. You are the one. I believe it. Go get your sister. Martha went back into the town to get Mary, her sister, who was sitting in their home filled with friends and relatives and those who had come to mourn and sit shiva with her, to sit there with her in her grief. They couldn't fix it. They didn't have the words to say. They just were there, sitting with her in that profound grief. Martha came in and said, Mary, teacher requests that you come. Mary went out to greet where Jesus was, and when Mary went out, all those who were with her went out as well. The whole mourning community walked with Mary towards Jesus, and when she got there, face to face, she was angry. If you had been here, if you had been here, if you had come when we asked you to come, if you had been here, then he would not have died. It's my brother, whom I love and whom you love. Why weren't you here? Mary, where have you laid him? Where is he? Mary and Martha took Jesus to the tomb in which Lazarus had been laid 4 days ago. 4 days, longer than a spirit would linger around the grave. 4 days when it starts to smell that death and decay. They stood there, weeping, tears running down their face for the loss of their brother, and Jesus wept too. I imagine him holding them and arming them, enfolding them, and in great compassion sharing their grief, sharing their tears, sharing their love. And after a time, however long that time took, Jesus asked those who had gathered around Mary and Martha to roll the stone away. Does it sound like another story you might hear? Roll the stone away. And when the stone was rolled away, Jesus prayed. Father, I pray to you out loud so that they will know you hear me. I know you hear me. You always hear me, but for them, that they might know and see and believe that I am in you and you are in me. I ask this of you this day. Lazarus, come out. When he did, Jesus simply said, unbind him. Unbind him from death. Unbind him from all that may constrain his life. Unbind him. You have turned my mourning into dancing. You have taken off my funeral clothes and clothed me with joy that I might sing your praises forever. Oh, my Lord, my God, I will sing your praise forever and ever. Amen.
Then the chief priests and Pharisees called together the council and said, "What are we going to do? This man is doing many miraculous signs. If we let him go on like this, everyone will believe in him. Then the Romans will come and take away both our temple and our people." One of them, Caiaphas, who was the high priest that year, told them, "You don't know anything. You don't see that it is better for you that one man die for the people rather than the whole nation be destroyed." He didn't say this on his own. As the high priest that year, he prophesied that Jesus would soon die for the nation, and not only for the nation. Jesus would also die so that God's children scattered everywhere would be gathered together as one. From that day on, they plotted to kill him. Therefore, Jesus was no longer active in public ministry among the Jewish leaders. Instead, he left Jerusalem and went to a place near the wilderness, to a city called Ephraim, where he stayed with his disciples. It was almost time for the Jewish Passover, and many people went from the countryside up to Jerusalem to purify themselves through ritual washing before the Passover. They were looking for Jesus. As they spoke to each other in the temple, they said, "What do you think? He won't come to the festival, will he?" The chief priests and Pharisees had given orders that anyone who knew where he was should report it, so they could arrest him.
Jesus asked Martha, did she believe? That is the question for us this day. Let us profess our faith this morning. We believe in you,